Ramona Green.
And this is Talk of the Town, powered by Project Restore.
Yes, this is the show where we basically bring you, the viewer, into the things that are going on locally, things that are going on national and international news. We give you just community concerns and community happenings, things like that that's going on. And of course, we want your feedback. So if you're tuning in now, we'll give you a time to talk to us and just ask us questions. I want to make sure we're not, if everybody can hear us out there, if you can, just work with us for right now. Next show, we will be able to bring you a better quality of Wi-Fi.
And plus, it's our first show, so we're gonna get better with time. But
Definitely that.
We definitely want to put out a disclaimer. The views and opinions shared here are not of the many organizations that are affiliated with Project Restore. They are those of the two members you see sitting before you. We do not attack people on the show, but we do wrestle the issues.
So, with that being said, just watch what you say to us, and we'll watch what we say to you.
All right. Now, for those who don't know, Project Restore is a movement that promotes community development, political engagement, and youth activism by engaging residents and other stakeholders to help affect positive change in the community. There are people around New Bern who have seen us out, have seen us working. Project Restore contains several very smart and educated people that go out, and we help with cleanup in the community. We advocate for voting for people. We help in any way possible. So
yes,
I am super excited to share more about that as we go along. But again, here's Talk of the Town with Project Restore.
All right, so we're just going to go ahead and move into the first topic of tonight. For those who do not know, there are all sorts of interesting facts that surround the African American culture. We have done a lot of things in history. We have done a lot of we have invented a lot of things in history. So this little black known fact, as Black America Web would say, this is an interesting African American fact, and it's powered by BlackAmericaWeb.com. And I'm going to do it because it's actually a state fact. Clarence Leitner was, he's from Raleigh, North Carolina. He was today, on this date, the only black mayor in the history to attend North Carolina Central University. And he took somewhat of an unusual path to politics. He studied, while he was at Central, he studied mortuary science. And for some reason, he decided that he wanted to take a path into the political arena. So basically, he decided to run for mayor. And being the fact that New Bern now, we have the municipal races going on, and the race for mayoral seat, I thought it'd be nice that this is a fact that he was the first mayor of Raleigh, North Carolina, first black mayor for Raleigh, North Carolina. His name is Clarence Leitner. He only had one term though. So that's a pretty cool thing. He went from being a mortuary science major on the campus of North Carolina Central University to being a political candidate, and he won. He was the only black mayor of Raleigh, the first black mayor of Raleigh. And I thought it was a pretty interesting fact. To learn more, just go to BlackAmericaWeb.com.
I think that's pretty awesome.
I know, it's cool. I just thought it was cool with all the stuff that's going on in New Bern. You know, going on with the alderman race and the mayor race and all that stuff. I thought it would be cool to spread light on that. He was the first and the only black mayor of Raleigh, the capital of North Carolina. I don't think a lot of people know that. So,
and now you know. So, moving on, we're going to go to our. Actually, we would like to take some questions from you guys. If you have any questions or comments during the show, feel free to put them up, and we will answer them for you as best as we can. Yes. We are not, we don't proclaim to be scholars, but we definitely have a lot of knowledge. Mm-hmm. We are involved locally, politically, as far as activism, we are involved with volunteerism in the community and with several different organizations. So we do have a bit of knowledge about what's going on, and not to mention, you're super educated Black girl.
Take no credit. Take no credit.
And I tend to definitely pay attention to the news and what's going on in the world. So,
and it's very important to pay attention to what's going on in your your community, as well as national and state. This part is just the community's part to just ask us questions on how they feel things going on. I know just to open up the floor on that, I think several residents in and out and around the community that we live in have a question about why is it taking so long to fix the road that is still unpaved between the backside of Stanley White and the Veterans Garden.
correct.
That part is unpaved, and I know they're fixing the side street where Stanley White is. They're still paving that, but they left a section of the street completely open with dirt and rocks, and it's got potholes, just huge potholes. And I think a lot of people are just questioning, like, when will they go ahead and fix that part so people can, kind of drive around there without having to mess with their cars. So just questions and concerns like that you want to, express and let us know. We'll do our best to go ahead and try to get those answers for you. And if not, then I suggest that you all go to your alderman meetings. So if you can,
Definitely. And
go
for
there.
those who don't know, obviously for my people tuning in from New York, don't worry, we're live.
Don't worry, it's
From
live.
New York or New Jersey, our what you would call city council members are called aldermen here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and on October 10th, we have the alderman race, and we have 6 wards that the city of New Bern is broken up into. And then we have also the mayoral race, as Ramona said. So, we encourage people to get out there and vote.
Definitely.
Know who your local officials are. Know which ward you stay in, and definitely just pay attention to the issues and really do your research.
Yeah.
But local municipality races are very important in any city that you're in.
Definitely.
So get involved, or as people like to say, stay woke.
Stay woke, definitely. And just to let it be known, if you have a question about your area or your ward, don't be afraid to call your alderman or email them. They do respond.
And if you're in New Bern, you're welcome to stop by the Real Resource Center at 1036 Broad Street. We have a large, beautiful map given to us by the city of New Bern that is color coded to which ward people stay in. So you can look up your street and look and see which ward you're in, and then who you're going to vote for. But your ballot when you vote should have only your aldermen on there, the people that are running in your ward, and the people that are running for mayor. All right?
All right.
So let's get into
stuff.
our local news. What is happening locally
I
here
don't know.
in New Bern, North Carolina?
A lot of things, but I heard over this week y'all had a chance to enjoy the NAACP banquet.
Woohoo!
Freedom Fun Banquet. Tell me how
Yes,
that
we
went.
did. Yes. So we were at the NAACP Freedom Fun Banquet this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to thank all of the elected officials that came out. I want to thank Michelle Cotton Laws, who was our keynote speaker, who gave a rousing speech about staying woke and being involved and not being quiet at a time like this where we're in society and things are happening and moving, and not don't be quiet. This is your time to speak up. This is your time to say exactly how you feel. We are in trying times, and a lot of our views and morals and things are being challenged. So this is the best time to really educate yourself. And it was one of the reasons that motivated us to really revamp this show, which has a lot of history in New Bern. Talk of the Town was originally one of the first minority-owned radio shows in New Bern. It was very successful. It was started by Mr. Reggie Simmons, and he had guests like Michael Jordan and
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
But he has given us his blessing to carry on and he passed the torch to us and allowed for us to be able to bring a more modern spin on it. So we are here to talk about everything that affects our underserved communities.
And
So, again, back to the Freedom Fund Banquet. I would suggest if you have a chance to get involved in your local NAACP chapter, please do. The NAACP is very big on voting rights, and they give scholarships to some of our students. They have a youth chapter that any child 0 to 24.
yeah, almost. I know my daughter is only a month, and by the time she gets to be 4 months, she will be a lifetime member.
Oh,
That's courtesy of her father.
right, the president. So anyway, that's what happened in New Bern this weekend. It was very well attended, and I believe everyone had a really good time. Once again, we'd like to thank the people who have joined.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, Nicholas. Thanks, Terrence. Thanks,
Thanks,
Maggie.
Corey.
Thanks, Corey. And Mr. Jermaine, thank you so much for tuning in. I definitely appreciate you guys taking time out of your precious day to sit here and listen to us talk about what's important.
So we're gonna move right, keep this train moving, and go ahead and get into the national news. I know a lot of people have been kind of keeping their eyes and ears peeled onto what's happening since these hurricanes have blown through here, and one of the focal points now is Puerto Rico, and the fact that they are literally without power. There is no electricity in Puerto Rico whatsoever. I think I saw on my Twitter feed last night there was a map of when at nighttime when you can see the electric grids or the power lights in cities and stuff. Well, this was a picture of Puerto Rico, and it was black. It's pitch black. And if you are not understanding that, Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. Everyone there is American citizens.
Correct.
And they are without power. And one thing about it, I know when the hurricane came through and hit Texas, after the storm blew over, they had aid just like that. There was the Red Cross. There was all these other entities, and now we're talking about Puerto Rico, and these people have no power. That means there are certain areas that people can't even get to see if there's people who need help. And one of the stories that is running in the news right now, and I got this off of Reuters, which is the top news of everyone's choice nowadays, next to CNN, because no one listens to the other guys.
I'll take that back. Actually, I do. And honestly, just a quick tip. I do tend to listen to MSNBC or Fox News. I do tend to share conversations over Breitbart and some of the other very extreme right, because in order to know how they think, we have to know what they're saying.
And that's true.
So I can only take it for a little while, but I do go on there and I do look at, for example, when MSNBC and CNN are covering a certain topic, I like to go on Fox News to see how they're spinning it or what they're covering.
And
so it's just personal preference.
They do a lot of that.
But in order to know I'm not going to say enemy, your opponent.
Your opponent.
In order to know your opponent, you should study what they study and know what they know.
That's true.
And that goes with anything from running for office to excelling in a job interview.
That's true. And with this story here, Puerto Rico, basically, the government, U.S. government has said that Puerto Rico, and before they can ever get any aid from the government, they must pay off their debt that's owed to the government. And anybody with common sense would know that during a time, a devastating storm or anything, if you are whether it's U.S. territory or U.S. providence or whatever, you are allocated aid.
Correct.
And because the citizenship there is American, so to know that these people, that Puerto Rico has not yet received any aid whatsoever, and we're talking almost a week now, with been through the storm, they're still sitting in the dark, and now they've been told that they have to figure out how much money will be needed to help them, but at the same time their debt was brought into this thing too. And mind you, the U.S. is right now, we're in bankruptcy. We filed bankruptcy for $72 billion off of our own debt. So to not be able to just hurry the aid there and help them, that this kind of makes President Trump's it makes people question his ability to what's the word I'm looking for, to be a president in this case, because it makes no sense. They're citizens. Why can't they have the stuff that every other country, third world country, if they go, our allies get? They get aid when they need it. They get weapons when they need it. This is a territory of ours that you got people, you got children, you got men, you got women who are literally sitting in the dark, hungry. I can only imagine what's going on over there.
There's some looting.
There's some looting probably taking place.
Right.
And yet, at the same time, instead of you just sending the money like you should, you have to question their debt. You have to make sure that they're able to pay back a debt. And to me, their government right now is trying to figure out how they can ask for the money and then still pay the debt off at the same time. And I think that's one thing they shouldn't have to worry about at this point.
Doesn't that sound like a credit check to you?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but
to me that was unfair. That's unfair. Period.
Right. When humans are dying.
Yeah.
Who cares what their debt is?
And I mean, even with FEMA recently asking the government for more money to fund the situation in Houston, that money was given to them. Be clear, that was FEMA asking for money for aid.
Right.
It was given just like that. This is Puerto Rico asking for money. It's not given, and they have to be questioned. Their debt has to be questioned. That's crazy.
Yes.
I think to me that's just crazy.
I haven't been able to fathom exactly what's the holdup without sounding malicious or having some ill intent about 45. So I'm just going to continue to watch and see how they handle this situation for our territory. But it's ours.
It's ours.
It's just like another state.
Mm-hmm. It is ours.
And regardless of the nationality of people that are on there, or what color they are, or what their economic status is.
Indeed.
I thought that we were supposed to help regardless.
So that's the first bit of national news. And of course, everyone is just going crazy about the hashtag Take a Knee, which of course, if you know, on Sunday, the NFL was never the same again.
Right. So
the NFL was never the same again.
Facebook, tell us how you feel about taking a knee. How do you feel about the football players deciding to, and what I feel, just in my personal opinion, kneeling can be shown as a sign of respect as well. I mean, I've knelt, being in the military, yeah. I've knelt when a commander has come around, or your staff SEO asks you to kneel real quick because he has something to say to you. It's almost like kneeling is a respectful sign, yeah, without being too disrespectful. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So I can't imagine why people are so upset at the act and not paying attention to the purpose.
Well, this whole thing just gets you. It smokes my brain up, because I have literally tried to figure out what is the real agenda behind everyone feeling so serious about the kneeling, the taking a knee. To me, to be honest, from what I've read this whole week, it seems like the players never really took a knee up until 2009. When the national anthem was played, it wasn't a big deal to some football players, because some of them were probably stretching. Some of them were probably just in the moment to where they just stood up. Nobody thought anything about it.
Right.
And I feel like if there is no veteran who takes offense to it, who says this is an issue, to me, their opinion matters the most before anybody else's does.
Right.
If they say this is wrong, we lose our lives for your freedom. If they say that something's wrong with it, then yeah, by all means, there might be something wrong with it.
I've talked to veteran friends, and their whole thing is they didn't fight for the national anthem or the flag per se. Us fought for the right to be able to even protest. Yeah. The right to be able to be free.
Yeah.
to do these things, to express our First Amendment. They're not upset about that per se, and it has become twisted. The message has become twisted in a sense like, now you're disrespecting our country and you're disrespecting our flag. It's not that black and white. I mean, you took something that Colin Kaepernick was trying to do to bring awareness to an issue amongst minorities, and you've turned it into your own narrative.
Yeah.
Totally forgetting about the whole purpose of why he did it.
Yeah.
And that I have a problem with. So, just my 2 cents, you know.
And this is coming from a veteran. But it'd be interesting to see what takes place with this whole situation, you know, in the months ahead, especially for the Super Bowl being right around the corner. It's weird how football season just started, and now it's, you know, we're on the track to actually it ending. February Super Bowl. So it'd be interesting to see what goes on with the players and then the owners, and then just, you know, Colin Kaepernick himself.
'Tis true. You know what got me? Jerry Jones last night took a knee. That was one of the last owners I expected to take a knee.
And mind you, he took the knee before the anthem was played. So
who helped Jerry get up?
Maybe one of the linemen who were next to him. Because even when I looked at him kneeling, I said, who actually encouraged Jerry to kneel? Because if anything, his kneecaps looked like they were hurting.
You know, you know what it was? I think that honestly, a lot of these owners gave tons of money to a specific political party.
And that's true.
But it's almost like it was good until you called my players SOBs.
Yeah.
Only I call my players SOBs.
And if everybody knows Jerry Jones, this is one of the most infamous owners, managers, can be a coach at the same time if he chooses to. He is one of the most infamous and ruthless owners of the NFL because to Jerry it's about the money. His players are his money. That's the cash cow. And don't cross that line of messing with the money.
And
that's it. Don't mess
and if
with
you
the
didn't
money.
learn nothing else from this show, know that everything starts and ends with the money. We friends till you put your hand in my pocket.
Yeah. And with Jerry, he owns Dallas. He owns Arlington. He owns that little triangle of Texas that you just don't mess with the money. He's allegedly, and I'm going to say it's allegedly. I know it's true, but allegedly just in case. He has connections with a lot of the legal system in Texas. Mm-hmm. So that is the case of why a lot of players have been getting away or getting off on trials with like violence and stuff like that.
Oh, I have no doubt.
To play.
I have no doubt.
It's because of Jerry.
The NFL is a machine, and Jerry is one of those people that throws the cogs in the wheel. He moves things, and he's very powerful in the NFL. So
most definitely.
I'm interested in the days ahead to see kind of where 45 goes
with the whole NFL, and then still trying to be a president at the same time.
Right, because as we all know, regardless of all of the devastation that's been happening, he got up this morning and he posted on Twitter 3 comments about the NFL, as if we don't have North Korea at our backs, as if we don't have people who have perished and passed away, as if we don't have a lot of other things that's going on, not only in our country, but the world.
3.4 million Puerto Ricans who are without power, who are without water, who are without food, and babies and children, no telling what's going to happen over there next week, you know, and
let alone all the people who you thought was going to pay for the wall. Some of these people just got hit with a terrible earthquake.
Yeah.
So you don't have any humanity or aid or words of wisdom or guidance for any of that besides picking a fight with the NFL. I don't know. I'm just wondering.
That's it. So moving on to international news, global news. I think this is a topic that will never stop because right now it's so heated to where one word that sounds like another word can get so misguided that it starts a war. And recently, the UN had a meeting, and of course, North Korea was there, and we were there, and a bunch of other nations was there because, you know, that's just where they meet at to discuss big boy things.
Big soiree.
And I'm going to call him the spokesperson, the representative for North Korea. he showed up and basically had several words for Donald Trump, basically saying that what he tweets about, and one of the things that he tweeted about this week was the fact that North Korea, they're gonna get it. Simple as that. They're gonna get it. What they doing, how Kim Jong Un ill. Is it ill or un? I called him ill earlier. You think maybe he's ill?
I think he is ill.
Kim Jong Un. He might be ill too. The fact that he's ruthless too. Like, his feelings and emotions are not there to where he can say, wait a minute, let's just stop this and think about what we're doing. He doesn't believe in that. His whole motion is, when I say it, I'm gonna do it. And the fact that someone from another country, another president, can actually face up with him word for word, like wordplay, because this is all it is wordplay.
Right.
That makes it so entertaining for other countries, such as China. And one of the things that North Korea has mentioned is that Donald Trump, one of his tweets was the start of an act of war,
which we had to send representatives out and say, no, Donald Trump didn't declare war. But you can imagine how this looks to other countries, especially with our president consistently tweeting.
Yeah.
I don't think he understands quite the power that he holds in this seat. But when you're the president, things that you put out there, people really take as official. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could be tweeting like the whole thing about NFL ratings or whatever. And other countries are paying attention because you are the leader of the free world. Yeah. You have codes to nuclear bombs and other things behind the scenes. And what you say really does matter. And the fact that sometimes you have to come back and say, I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
Or what the president really meant. No. Yeah. You have to understand the weight that you hold as the leader of the free world, yeah, and not abuse that in a sense, or not think that at this point that you're an average citizen or a regular human anymore. Like, no. You have power behind your pen. You have power behind your words. You have power behind your actions. Indeed. And you can't just tweet like a regular civilian and think that other countries' leaders aren't going to pay attention.
But see, to President Trump, it's, as long as he doesn't have anyone in his party that will tell him that he shouldn't do this. Because right now, who's under his regime has quit because they can't tell him what they want to tell him or what they should tell him is right or what's wrong. But he has spokespeople who will go literally on live TV and defend everything that he says and does. And they back it with this tightness of, words. Like, yeah, the president said it, so what? What you gonna do about it? And when you mess around with North Korea, which is a dictatorship, you kind of have to go toe to toe. If you're gonna do the wordplay, there's action behind it, and a lot of the things that's getting caught up right now is the fake news that is happening, where there's a video that was allegedly shown of North Korea blowing up like U.S. carriers, U.S. warships, and things like that. And if you're not paying attention to the news this week, there are fighter jets that are flying within the flying space of North Korea. And that's us. The U.S. has said that they can do that. This is what happens, and North Korea is just saying that's an act of war. If they fly within space they're not supposed to, then that's an act of war. And that's actual news. That's not the fake news. The fake news will say that things are really happening and they're not. But I think if you really test somebody like North Korea, a country like North Korea, you got to be able to back what you say.
Yeah, their young king is just as fiery as Donald Trump is on any regular day on Twitter. So I think it's a very slippery slope that we're on, especially with the back and forth. And we have a very juvenile leadership at this moment. And I just pray for all of us. I really do. I don't know exactly what any of his military commanders or advisors can do to really assist at this point. I think he has a goal. He has an agenda. He wants to show himself as a bad $$. So, I mean,
I just want him to focus on the economic, the hardships that everyone in this country is going through with just, I mean, healthcare and all this and all the things that are happening. I need that focus to be there.
Correct.
I need that focus to, quit doing word for word and focus on what's going on in your own backyard. We have, for God's sakes, we have a territory with 3.4 million people who are without power.
Right.
And if that's not a problem or issue to anybody, even if you voted for Trump, if no one's saying that's a problem, that these people have not received any aid, relief, funding, nothing, and there are people who are workers who are going over to Puerto Rico to help, and just to know that there's no money there to really help them do what it is they need to do. Because I can tell you right now, if the dam breaks, it's a wrap for the people who are in that town located right by the dam that they're monitoring. If it breaks, that's going to be catastrophic for them. And I really, really think he needs to start getting serious with helping the people in his own backyard.
I agree. So, with that being said, I mean, we can talk so much more about the issues, but again, this is only an hour show, and we have more to talk about next week. And I'm pretty sure between now and then, that 45 will go ahead and give us more to talk about internationally.
Yes.
So, again, feel free to send us a message on Facebook through Project Restore.
The page is up.
Or Talk of the Town, #TOTT. And let us know how you feel, what you think are some important topics that we should talk about. We take constructive criticism. We do not promote hate. So if you are full of hate or hater, please don't send us a message.
No.
Because we love everybody.
No. But if you do have a respectful question, or you just want something answered, by all means send that. Just make sure you don't add any obscene words.
Pretty much.
Just
I don't
don't do
think
it.
my church would like that.
Don't do it.
And he's still working on us. So, with that being said, let's get to our segment called #that.
Yes. And hashtag that for Tuesday. We are focusing on the writers, the creative minds, the people, the young people who want to just get a whole bunch of words out on paper and write a book and tell somebody about it, or just even be on the bestsellers list. Who doesn't want that? I do. So this week, two marvelous African American women have developed an app called Wordy. That is with 3 E's at the end. And basically, Wordy, it was created by a lady named Patrice Samara. Samara? That's
Correct.
It? And basically, it is an app that makes it easy for writers to publish manuscripts and basically send them off to professionals to get their work looked at, to get maybe some guidance on what they should do with certain things they write about. Because if you're not understanding how the publishing system works, there are publishing companies that will basically say, well, if you send us your manuscript, we'll do this. But guess what? You need to send us like $5,000 because we're going to give you all of this stuff, included a book with a front cover, hardcover, or plastic or soft cover. That stuff costs money.
Right.
And a lot of times you got people who just, they'll write a book, get someone to edit it for them, and then they'll publish it themselves, and then they can't really get the marketing that they should have for the book, so they sell them out their trunk. And nothing's wrong with that. That's a good hustle to have, but if you really want to get your book into stores that, sell the big name brand books, then this is something that you should take advantage of. It is an app. I know today we looked up to see if the app has been available, and right now I guess they're still in the works with it.
Yes.
But we did find a website that you can go to just find out some information and probably even, see what's going on up there. And that is Word, 3 E's at the end, .com.
Correct.
And it's so significant for the young people to go and take hold of these free things now instead of waiting later. You wrote a whole 30,000 page book and you don't even know where to start. This is something that'll help you, and I think it's one of the cool things that #this is about. So #this word E.
Correct. While you're hashtagging Beard Gang and Gray Sweatpants,
Yeah.
we would like for you to
Or the
hashtag
challenge.
exactly. We would like for you to hashtag things that are actually popping right now, things that are actually helping people, that are innovative, that are new, that are fresh. Another app that I'd like you to hashtag #Band. That is an app that we have been using here at Project Restore.
It is awesome.
And others. It's a great app. If you are in an organization or you are in a business or you're trying to group all of your things together, you don't know when your meetings are, or you have a to-do list, you have things that you need people to get accomplished. You can invite all of your members to Band, and it kind of bands all those things together. It has a calendar, it has to-do lists, it has alerts that it can send. It has a news feed. It looks almost similar to Facebook when you go into the app. You set the app picture, you can put pictures and files and all kinds of stuff in there, and it puts everything all in one place so that you're not consistently getting group text messages or random things. Everything is kind of banded together in its own little space on your phone. So if you haven't looked at it, check it out one time. It's called Band. You can find it in your Apple store or your Google store, or what's that other thing they have? Android, that thing.
I would know. It's Team iPhone over here.
Yeah, but definitely check out Band.
The e-store?
Play Store.
The Play Store.
And from the Peanut Gallery, we're
Yeah.
getting the Play Store. So
Our good guy Ned.
but yeah, so hashtag that amongst the other things that you're hashtagging.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool that for the youth.
So anyone watching or anyone tuned in, do you have any questions or comments for us before we move on to our last segment?
Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Indeed.
Indeed.
And again, this is our first show. We will be doing one every Tuesday night at 5 o'clock. Talk of the Town, powered by Project Restore.
And if we start late, y'all just bear with us because we just glide on right in like a 747.
Indeed,
Don't
we
worry.
do.
We glide right in.
Right.
That's all that matters.
5-ish.
5 We might have to put that on the thing, 5-ish. But we'll get there.
So anybody out there listening, do you remember when... ... Do you remember when we actually had to be on the porch when the street lights came on? Do you remember when?
Or if
We missed those
Or if you were
days.
down the road and the sun started to set and you had to bicycle and your house was like 7, 8, 9 houses away from the house that you was at, you had to really pedal hard to get home. Yes. I mean, that was the time when you rode the bike standing up trying to get home. You didn't sit
Indeed.
down, you stood up. I remember that.
Do you remember when kids actually went outside?
And played, got dirty, played kickball, made mud cakes, ate mud cakes. I mean, had a fight on the trampoline. And I say ate mud cakes because we used to make dirt pies and mud cakes that were so neat that you would be foolish not to eat them. And we did. We used to do it. Don't look at me like I'm special, because don't act like some of y'all up here on this timeline never ate dirt. Don't do that. Don't do that. Everybody has. Somebody has.
I'm gonna leave that to a southern thing. I'm gonna give the northern perspective.
Because y'all ain't have enough mud up there.
Yeah,
So-
no, not at all. Not at all. We didn't have
But
enough mud or
around
backyards or
here-
anything like that.
But around these parts, if you had dirt and the rain was just, after a rain, you had that good dirt. You made dirt cakes. You made mud pies, and a lot of the mud pies and dirt cakes we made came from my mama's pots and pans.
Oh,
Mind you, we got whooping after that, but we made the best dirt cake and dirt pies, and I actually think she used to watch us do it. That's why it was funny to her, and then she would, then we would get popped for it. But
that's an interesting story. Don't tell nobody.
I'm
But do y'all remember when Grandma used to wake y'all up on Saturdays and you would have to get up and clean? And you couldn't go outside till y'all got done cleaning. I mean, washing baseboards and pulling out the good pots and shining them up. And what happened to that?
it's not. It's a different era. It's just a different era. You know, you got grandmamas who are not as old as our grandmas were.
Yeah.
So they don't really do those things.
No comment on that.
No comment.
But do you remember when? It's just a time for us to kind of reflect back on how we were raised and the old traditional values that the traditional values that we grew up on.
Yes.
That somehow, some kind of way, are slightly diluted.
Yeah.
These days, and we kind of just reminisce on old values. I mean, do you remember when?
So,
I mean, I saw last week, what was it, at Badge Faith and Community Day, they were playing Double Dutch. Do you remember when?
Man. I mean, but honestly, do you all, like, and I'm speaking to the adults, do you remember, like, those, the things you did that now as an adult, it shaped you, like, from a child to, like, middle age to being a teenager, and now, do you remember those things? And can you actually take the time, because everybody's so busy now, everybody works and you got to make the money. I get that. But do you actually want to stop and take a moment and sit down with your kid and just remind them of what those days was like when you had a bicycle and that was your transportation all year long and you could go anywhere as long as you made it home? That was a moment in life that I think a lot of children nowadays, they don't cherish it like we did. They don't see it like we did. They don't see when you could go to the store and buy a handful of candy or
you could go to the store with a note.
Yeah.
My grandmama used to send me to the store with a note, and on that note it would have, and no money.
Yeah.
No money. It would have sliced cheese, Lay's potato chips, and Dorel cigarettes. And I would come back with everything that was on that note. It didn't matter how old I was, 7, 8, it didn't matter. I went to go get what my grandmama told me. She had a tab at the corner store.
It was a moment of learning responsibility. It was a moment of learning discipline. It was just a moment in time. It was those days, and I just don't think a lot of adults now sit down and talk to their kids and tell them about these days.
Right.
So that maybe their kid can kind of say, well, you know, maybe let's start doing this. I want a bike for Christmas. You know how many kids don't get bikes anymore for Christmas? That part of the game is gone. So the do you remember part is important. It's just I don't want anybody to take it out of content like, oh, they're switching sides. No, this is a part that's crucial to the show because Talk of the Town has a historic meaning behind it regardless. So to have the do you remember part is just as important. So if we come up on a show and you hear us say, do you remember when the Malt Shop was where the pharmacy aid is beside Grover C now? That used to be a place where you could get burgers and milkshakes. I remember that being a kid. You know, do you remember that?
Or do you remember when black businesses lined Broad Street?
Do you remember that?
Or even back home in Buffalo, do you remember when black businesses lined the streets? I mean, most of the corner stores, the penny candy stores were minority-owned businesses. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, these are things that I often reflect back with my children and try to instill those values in them. And we would hope that you guys sit around your dinner table or wherever you are eating and have these conversations, quality conversations with your kids.
Yeah.
Because I can't stand idly by while society or TV raises mine.
Right on.
And shout out to 2 local black businesses. Actually, one from home in Buffalo and one from here at New Bern. We would like to shout out Real Fresh Magazine, Aaron Midget. High five. That's our family. If you guys have not heard of or seen this magazine around town, you are definitely missing out. And we encourage you to go on their Facebook page and check out what they have. It's celebrating Black excellence 365 days of the year. And they have some awesome articles. Some of people that we have just recently recognized, like Corey Purdy and Greg Singleton. One of their covers has, I think last month had Nina Simone on it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then I think this month is going to have a tribute to Dick Gregory, but they give some awesome information. This is a quality magazine. These young men that work on this magazine, 2 young black men, they are amazing. Mm-hmm. So I would really encourage all of you guys to go and look at that, as well as back home they just opened I do believe, a totally minority owned and run radio station.
Great.
Yes. So, and I know that for a fact because one of the branding manager for it, Valentino Shine, shout out to Val, told me about it, and it looks awesome. I will make sure to put the link up to that radio station on the Project Restore page, as well as a link to Real Fresh Magazine's page.
And I think those two go hand in hand. A lot of people don't know the only black existing black owned radio company that still stands is Radio One, and that is starting to go a little off a little bit from being black ownership, like fully black owned, but it's still standing as one of the entities that's still owned technically by a black person. And just the black media, the black journalist in its entirety is starting to dwindle a little bit. We're not seeing as many black writers as we used to.
Indeed, or communication majors.
Yeah. We're not seeing as many black journalists and black media that covers our story. And don't get it twisted, I'm a diverse person when it comes to all types of media, but it's nice when you can go back in history and you see all these newspapers that was once owned by black people. They had black writers, black editors. It was times when the baseball games were covered by strictly black writers.
Right.
And they were, they had to go through so much just to be able to sit in the stadium of the baseball games. They couldn't travel to other, stadiums to do games, and they weren't allowed to sit in the press box. And that is where we've come. When you're talking about when they had to carry typewriters around.
Jesus.
And they couldn't sit in the press box, which was allocated to them. They had to sit in the actual stadium with a typewriter. And one of the scenes that you can go and see this, take my word for it, is the Jackie Robinson movie, 42.
Indeed.
When the editor of the paper, who was following Jackie at the time, he was not allowed into the press box, and he had to sit in the stadium with a typewriter. So that is the importance of black media. You have to know where we've come from to admire it and appreciate it, and I think that is awesome to have that. So.
And another shout out to Jamel Hill.
Yes.
Thank you for your honesty.
Yes.
So, with that being said, we will move on to our community happenings. What is happening in our community? The most important thing that's happening is early voting. Yes. In Craven County, early voting is open. So go ahead and go out to your local polling places. Check out where you're supposed to vote online. I believe at cravencounty.org, gov. Yes. Yeah. You can go ahead and check and see if you are registered, if you are active, if they have the right address, and definitely go out there and vote.
It is important, and I encourage anybody who is just turning 18 on your birthday, go register to vote. Go get your registration card. I did when I turned 18. It was the first thing I did. I remember what my grandparents said to me, when you get 18, that's the first thing you do before you do anything else. That's the first thing I did before I got my driver's license. Don't ask me. I think back then when I turned 18, they weren't looking for IDs. They just took a bill that I had and used it. So, but definitely encourage any 18-year-old to get a voter registration card. It's so important. Like, don't just let them tell you, oh, they don't care. Don't encourage them just to get driver license. Get a voter registration card. When I went to college, I was solid. Are you registered to vote? Yeah. And I was tickled.
Say it with pride.
I said it with pride because if anyone knew what they were doing back then, well, when I went to college, they were trying to press the issue about college students having voter registration IDs. And that we would have to show that on the day we voted, and that was an issue. It's still a big issue now. A lot of people don't understand that they will always try to manipulate young people. If you're not registered to vote, that's one less voter they could care less about. But if you're registered to vote and you walk in there and you vote, they can't say nothing to you. That's power. Voting, to me, voting is power.
It is true. Right.
Encourage these young people to register to vote.
right next to Capital and Group of Economics. But we'll get into that next week. As well as this Friday, there is a poetry jam. If anyone knows Life the Poet, that is our brother. And he is having a poetry event this weekend. It is on the 29th, so that is Friday. It's going to be in Havelock at Quality Inn. So go ahead and get your tickets. I have mine too, and they are $10 a piece. And get there ahead of time, because we went last month, and he does these every month, but it was a pretty good packed house, and it started out with somebody doing fire and eating fire, and it started off the event, it was lit, and everybody walked in.
It was lit.
It was lit, literally. Everybody walked in. It was an awesome time. We had some great poets. We even had a singer, a local singer, and he was amazing. So I'm pretty sure the next show is going to be even better than the first show. So please go out and support Life.
And just the story about Life. Let me tell you how of an upstanding guy this guy is. When I first met him, we were selling popcorn, and I met him at your expo, your community expo, and he was like, "I'm going to buy a bag from you, but I just need you to bring the bag to me." I said, "Okay, cool." And I just told myself, "Well, you can pay me when I give you the bag." No, Life paid me then. And the day I was ready to give him his first bag of popcorn, he did not meet me in Jacksonville. And I texted him and I said, "You still want your popcorn?" He was like, "I forgot about it, but I appreciate your business. Thank you so much." I'm like, "Well, you paid me." And the fact that he just didn't let that bother him. He was like, "No, it's cool. Like, your popcorn was banging. Thanks." Oh, okay. But I didn't get a chance to give him a whole bag, so I appreciate him for just giving me the $5 and not having a bag of popcorn, donating the money. I appreciate that. But that's just how cool of a guy he is. He doesn't think about that stuff.
He's very village-minded, as he likes to say. It's about the village. It's not about him. I believe that I met him first on YouTube, and he did a poem about 9/11. And he got like hundreds of thousands of views as that Marine that did that one poem standing in front of the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor and the American flag. Unbeknownst to me, we would be stationed in Okinawa, Japan together, probably a few years after that. And I used to see him at like local poetry contests. I thought I was a poet back then. But nevertheless, he's always been a very stand-up guy. He's always been pretty awesome. And the movement that he's leading now, as far as with this artist and the creativity and the village that he's creating, is really powerful to watch, really, really amazing. I've watched this guy really develop over time. Yes, so a huge shout of support to Life and his wife and his family and Ali. He was one of the performers last time at the Poetry Jam. Ali's music is very awesome. He is a cross between like a Nas and a J. Cole. So if you ever get a chance to see or hear some of his music, please support that young man, because he's also in college. He has very good grades, and he's trying to be an artist.
I love it. Gotta love it.
And he reminds me of old school, because he's like selling the CDs out of the trunk. It's pretty awesome.
The hustle of a college kid.
Yeah, you won't find any of his stuff electronically. He's really out of his trunk. So, anywho, moving on to the next. The next community event is on Saturday, the 30th of September. It is Community Relation and Appreciation Day. This is going to be from, I believe, 11 to 4. It's at Stanley White in New Bern. And it is a day to really come together for camaraderie. They're going to be honoring some shining stars in New Bern's community, to include Tova Harrison.
Yes.
The executive director of the Coastal Women's Shelter, as well as Corey Purdy, the executive director for Wash Away Unemployment, and as well as the late and great Miss Virginia Foy. So please come out and support that event as well. Again, that is taking place. It is hosted by Mr. Reggie Simmons, who also did the radio show that we talked about earlier. It will be co-hosted by myself and Greg Singleton. So we look forward to seeing everyone out there. We would like to make this a very large event, something like National Night Out, where different neighborhoods will be celebrating a community relation and appreciation day throughout the city. That is his vision.
That's good.
And I support it.
That's good. Yeah.
And last but not least, what I have is on the 7th of October, Wash Away Unemployment Second Chance Gala.
Shout out to the crew.
Yes. Thank you to everyone who's been working so hard and tirelessly on it, to include Jamisha and Net and Corey and Raymona and Nick and everyone who's a part of Wash Away Unemployment, who has given their time and efforts to be there and to organize this wonderful gala. The Second Chance Gala is to honor individuals who have gone to prison and done their time and got out, and not only did not become another statistic by going back, but have utilized their second chance to positively affect people's lives. So we would like to honor those awesome individuals in this Second Chance Gala. It's going to be an amazing night.
Yeah.
And you can go on to Wash Away Unemployment's website to get tickets. There's also an Eventbrite page.
You can go to the Wash Away Unemployment Facebook page and find the Eventbrite link and get tickets there. And you can also go and contact the actual resource center to find out how to purchase tickets, hard copy tickets.
Yes.
And they'll get you straight there. Let me tell you about the importance of this gala. Y'all don't understand.
She's excitable.
The back end of this gala is sincere. It really is, because if you think about it, everyone puts a banquet together, they put a gala together, and it's like it supports it's honoring the mayor or it's honoring other people. But the idea point was to honor people who are working so hard behind the scenes of things, and once in a lifetime someone might recognize them, and it might be, they might get an award or a plaque.
Right.
But to really give them a night for themselves with their family, and not to give them a plaque, but to give them a jacket, a blazer, to jacket them, that speaks volumes. Mm-hmm. And I for one think it's something that a lot of people should really start getting involved in, to just see how hard these individuals work to make change. And I mean, one brother who was on the road to make a change did a lot. He died recently, and that hit a lot of people hard, because he fought hard for a lot of the things that are happening now with reentry and second chance and things like that. And for him to lose his life so early in this process, it really, really hurts. But I know for a fact that there are a lot of people that will carry on his legacy and do major things as just by his name and by his name's sake. So definitely want everybody to go to the Second Chance Gala. It's very, very important. And I just want to thank the crew.
Indeed. And if you cannot attend, we always take donations. So you can support any way that you can. We definitely don't turn down anything but our collars. So if you have anything from $1 to whatever your heart's desire,
$1,000.
Yes, to be our community partner and help us build on this extremely important legacy that we are trying to build on, and to assist in the community, feel free to send me a message, and I will definitely either deliver tickets to you or tell you where you can go to donate.
Yeah.
So, do you have any other community happenings that you know of that I am leaving out?
Not really. No, not this time. No, I just want everybody to go there. The fair's coming.
And shout out to this new mom. For those who don't know, Raymona has a beautiful bouncing baby girl. She is 1 month old.
Yeah, she's a month.
And
going on 30.
Yes, and she's here helping me do this, where she could be somewhere sleeping or breastfeeding. So I definitely appreciate your struggle. So thank you so much.
No doubt. We got her here, got her swaddled, got her sleep. Shout out to her dad.
Understandable. In the peanut gallery over there.
That was his cue to come in, but
he didn't. It's fine. He's probably watching us.
Yeah.
But we're going to end this show with a quote, but I'd like to end it a little bit with, before we do the quote, with kind of what we're going to hit on next week. Something that I'm really fond of and I was a proponent of is teaching group economics, how our underserved community should really be focusing on pooling our resources to become more of a force. And as I've talked to many of my friends, we all understand that everything, again, as I said before, begins and ends with capital. And when you have capital,
oh, sorry, Mom Fest is on the 13th.
There you go.
October. Appreciate that. Drop in because I said fair.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
We definitely appreciate. But yeah, so just think about that, guys, and please pay attention to what's going on in the world around you and how it's affecting you and your children and how it'll affect your legacy. And stay prayed up. Stay woke. So you're gonna leave us with our quote.
Yes, and this quote comes from the late and the great, because she was great, because her husband was great, Coretta Scott King.
Indeed,
and
Black Queen.
says, "Hate is too great of a burden to bear. It injures the hater more than it injures the hated." And that is your quote by Miss Coretta Scott King.
Hashtag Black Girls Rock.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for giving us your time and your energy tonight. We appreciate you all, and we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Not ish. 5 o'clock. All right, everybody. You have a good night. Take care.